Moriarty the Patriot Part 2 opens up with the story of Irene Adler, who, if I can just bring up for a second, considering in the original novels, Irene Adler was, according to Holmes, one of the only 4 people to ever best him, it's always kind of strange that she's always ended being portrayed as sort of a Moriarty victim. Doesn't really matter. Point is, the resolution to Irene Adler's story in this is so fucking stupid, my brain inverted. Because at the end, she ends up working for Moriarty, and I don't even care about spoiling it. It's so fucking dumb that I feel like I need to warn someone about this. She, cuts her hair off and is like, I'm going to be James Bond. And longtime watchers will know that in, the 5 years of this channel's history, I have never said this word once. I literally cringed. I could not take it. It was so fucking stupid. I could talk the entire video about just how dumb this one singular moment is, how much of a dramatic buildup there is to this reveal, but there's too much to talk about. What I will say is there is a subplot with Irene Adler now going under James Bond about her being very insistent on assuming the identity of James Bond to the point where it starts to parallel trans issues. And considering Irene Adler in this show is very clearly not trans, or was even priorly hinted at being trans, I have absolutely no fucking idea what was going on with the Irene Adler James Bond thing, and it isn't fully explored. It's weird. It's weird, and it gets really fucking stupid. But that's okay. That's not the only bad part about this, don't worry. Outside of Irene Adler, we take a really heavy Moriarty focus, as you would expect, because Moriarty is, unfortunately, the main character of this trash pile. And it also delves a bit into the sort of episodic narratives of the first one. I thought that was done. I thought now that Holmes has arrived, we were really getting into the actual overarching plot. No, we're not. We're still on the episodic parts. Even worse to the fact is that instead of having random criminals show up and then having Holmes defeat them, we now have random criminals show up that has nothing to do with Moriarty's plan, and now Moriarty has to defeat them. So now Moriarty's just Sherlock Holmes in this, basically. And there is a part of the show that I have been told parallels The Dark Knight, which is a movie that I have definitely watched and super don't remember goddamn anything about. But it could also be just borrowing from Plato's Republic, and considering how up its own ass this series is, I'm honestly, it could be both, it could be neither, or it could be either one. It really doesn't matter. I think that plotline was okay, well enough done. It's just I had mostly checked out by that point. By the James Bond reveal, I had mostly checked out, and I was like, okay, I'm starting to get a little worried about this show, and then they did an entire Jack the Ripper thing, and I was done. I was like, well, all hope for this show has fucking evaporated, and don't worry, it never really had any reason to come back. As always, whenever Holmes is on the scene, he is the most interesting character. There's a cool episode about Watson and his fiance and a treasure hunt, and that Holmes has to figure that out, and then they take out the king of blackmailers. That was an interesting couple of episodes. I do find the conclusion to the show a bit disappointing. You do get to see Moriarty's plan come fully to fruition, and of course we relive the classic Holmes part of Holmes and Moriarty going over the waterfall, or in this case in a bridge, and in this case into a bridge into a sea of fire. But it doesn't really matter, and you never get to see the moment where it flips, where Holmes takes control of the narrative. It's just Moriarty ride the entire time, which means that the entire plot of this fucking 2-core anime is that Moriarty came up with a plan when he was a child, and nothing ever stood in his way, and it went all completely according to plan, and he was invincible the whole time. Fucking dumb as shit. Twitch and Discord in the description. I've been Sacrobolic, your envoy of hope. Bye-bye.